What up, world? 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 This is the man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, coming at you with another episode of Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. I know. It's been a minute, but y'all know life be life, and it's the damn off season. But we are back in the motherfucking building. Yeah, I'm cussing in the intro because I'm back. I'm fired up, man. Just came back from Swac Media Day, and listen, man. Had my partner D with me. It was a nice event. It was a lot of trash talking. It was a lot going on, man. So what's up, man? We're going to give y'all what we think, our thoughts from Swac Media Day. What up, D, man? How everything going with you, brother?
Man, everything, man. Definitely enjoyed the event, man. You know, like you said, it's off season, but like you said again, we are back in this time. But we back up in here, so let's get ready to go in. Got that much longer, fellas, ladies and gentlemen.
It is July. It is July.
Left. So hopefully the new NCAA 27 is holding you down until that time comes.
We're gonna talk about it after the show because I got to get you in one of my leagues. You know what I'm saying? But we do got some people that be running with Auburn. But anyway, man, we are here for Swac Media Day. This is our recap, man. You know, the one thing I will always give the people of the Swac, and I mean they put on a great event every year. You know, this is probably my time attending. You know, and it's almost like family when you get there. You see everybody dapping each other up. I mean, and it's just like everybody is there because you kind of know that this is like the beginning of the season. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, hey, we've been waiting long enough. We at the beginning of the season, but coming in hot. The hot take was, and you felt the buzz, and you felt it. The buzz was Alabama State, man, and you think about Coach Robinson, man. He's one of the when he looks to his left and he looks to his right, and he looks at his coaches that's around him. Coach Rob is, if I'm not mistaken, he is the elder statesman of the group, even though he's not that old, but he's been at his job seeming to be the longest. And right now, with a lot of people that kind of raise their eyebrows, a lot of people's coming out of me today thinking that Alabama State is the favorite to win the SWAC. What's your thoughts?
Bro, based off last year, and I think they then when you go, you lose one game, even though that game was the one that took you out, but when you only lose one game and you bring back your quarterback, you know what I mean? When you bring back a quarterback, and especially elder statesman like Body, you definitely get a favor when it comes to that part right there. And honestly, bro, just from what I was hearing and what I'm seeing, I don't see other than Jackson State, unless you know what I'm saying, Jackson State come back and does what they did last year. I don't see no other, I don't really see nothing else coming through. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you look at the predictions for the East, obviously it was some tough. I mean, it was a close vote. I mean, they don't have State by a landslide by no means. Like you said, they received 131 votes versus Jackson State's 122. But you gotta know that if you are Coach Rob, you sit back and you say to yourself, what more do I gotta do? And you look at that loss to Jackson State. That loss is what kept you from winning the SWAC. So D, let me ask you this. I mean, we're in our football mode. Let me ask you this. Are you more so thinking about winning the East, or are you more so focused on beating Jackson State, knowing what happened versus them last season?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's going to be a little bit of both. The reason why I say that is because what the hell going on? What's up, Jesus? Can you hear me, bro?
I hear you though. You good. I hear you.
The reason why I say that is as you can see, you gotta beat Jackson State.
Yeah, my partner D, he having a couple technical difficulties. But but I mean, in essence, you have to think about it along those lines of listen, you you took care of business in most areas. However, comma, you did lose to Jackson State. And by you losing to Jackson State, that in turn got you into a tiebreaker situation, which because you lost, they had the head to head. They ended up going on to be in the Swac championship game, and you were left out to dry all because of one loss. So when I say, is trying to win the East more important than beating Jackson State, that's more so what I'm speaking of. Because again, we all know you took care of business in other areas. It just was that loss ended up causing you to not be able to play for the SWAC. So when you look at everything that we saw today, one of the main things that one of the main tones that was going around the building, which is kind of coach speak, but it's not really coach speak, but it really is coach speak, is you want to play for 4 quarters. You want to eliminate turnovers. You want to be able to win on the road. And you want to be able to be healthy. So at the end of the season, hopefully all of that comes together. So when you look at the West, the team that they have coming out of the West right now, the team that they have coming out of the West right now is going to be Prairie View A&M. Now, with Prairie View A&M, we know what happened last year. As we say, they completed the journey. They completed the journey and they won last year. And they won. So is this going to be a situation where Prairie View goes back to back? I don't know. I do not know, and I'm going to be curious to see how this whole thing plays itself out because the one thing about the SWAC that we can always say from each year is whenever we think we got our eye on or we got our bead on something, it tends to not go the exact way that we expect it to go. Because again, look at Alabama State last year. You look at Prairie View. You know what I'm saying? They ended up, even though they got into the championship game, some people might have said, hey, you know what? They're going up against Jackson. Jackson only has, XYZ amount, they only got one loss. So Jackson was the home team. It's like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? They should pull this off. But were we right or were we wrong? We all ended up being very, very wrong in that scenario. And Prairie View ended up pulling out the victory and winning the SWAC last year. So will Prairie View be able to go back to back? Only time will tell. Yo, D, what's up, man? You back?
Man, this I don't know what's going on this side. This laptop is literally just losing its mind right now.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good, man.
But yeah, man, I don't. But just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, I still feel like you got to do both because you got to beat Jackson State as you see. Because if you don't, you won't win the East. So you got to win the East at the end of the day to get to the end. So I still feel like you got to win all the rest of your game, but I think they're going to definitely have to focus heavy on that game itself to make sure that at least that's not the game that keep you from making it to the breaking you down the golden road to get to see the whistle. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think that's gonna be their biggest thing. And I guess with them breaking back, and they said they have to listen to what coach was saying, like they got some pieces around him, and they gonna looking to make the same statement what they made last year. So all that I can say is what we gonna only time gonna tell on that one.
And that is right, and that is real, man. So to pivot from the preseason predictions, we'll pivot just a little bit. Let's just talk about the overall vibe, the overall atmosphere of Sweat Media Day. You get you get a lot of people that sometimes it's their first time there. Sometimes we got veterans that's been there a million times. This was one of your first times being in the building. how did you feel about the atmosphere, and how did you like the vibe that was going on in the building today?
I ain't gonna lie, man. The vibe was right, man. The vibe was actually real smooth. You know what I mean? I like how they have it all set up, with the multiple different rooms, and you got multiple different, media outlets there. And I definitely like to see that it was so many, big, media outlets that just purely cover HBCU. Cause just like when we walking in, heard the commissioner saying that what the biggest thing they want to do was get more coverage. Because like
Mhm.
out of the biggest media outlets, what you would see like Fox 6, 13, 33, 40. I think the only one I actually visually saw was 13. And that was the guy, the little short guy that was over there on the end table at the end of our table. So
Mhm.
that was the only person that I actually saw. I don't think, and I saw other news stations like the dude that was sitting over there next to it that you asked for that we trying to get the Wi-Fi code from. He was from a media outlet.
Right.
So a lot of some of them cats were from actual radio stations and things like that. So I do like the fact that they was able to have the other media outlets and there's so much swag coverage, but just want to have it to where it's not like you saying like a who can find who. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
That's the only thing about it. Like when you're trying to find everybody to kind of get the interviews, if they just streamline it and just keep that clean, it'll be perfect.
And I mean, I think the one thing, just speaking on the atmosphere, man, is it is a very family friendly atmosphere.
No
And
doubt.
I appreciate going each and every year. I learn something new every year. You meet somebody different, and you see people that you've seen a lot. So that's the one thing about it. I hope that it always continues to stay in Birmingham, because I mean, again, the Sheridan puts on they're a great host, and the city shows out, man. So I do appreciate the SWAT continuing to be here and have us. But back to the football at hand. Now, I don't want to say the elephant in the room, but the man in the room was one Marshall Falk. And you can always sense when you got a new coach in the building, and you
Oh
got
yeah.
a new coach of his caliber in the building, and it made you start to feel a buzz about Southern and what it is that they can become and what they can be under Coach Falk. Now, I don't think a lot of people are going to, you know, just assume, that they're going to just all of a sudden become discontented, because as you see from the votes, they got them pick to predict, well, pick to finish next to last in the West Division. However, although they have them picked there, we all know that when it comes to things like this, man, you never know. I mean, sometimes all the kids need is the right voice, is the right coach. So with Falk being, down at Southern, I think that it may not work. You know what I'm saying? It may not be a great season, but I do think that somewhere in this equation, they're probably gonna surprise somebody and beat somebody they probably shouldn't be beating.
Yeah, because I'm been looking at a couple things real quick. I see they don't have a lot of returning starters, but they do. They look like they got a quarterback from Houston,
Okay.
so they do from out the portal. So it look like they might have some punch coming. Especially like you have some experience with a quarterback. You definitely could. Someone like Marshall Falk, he knows how the importance of quarterback. So I
You know that.
definitely, portal is right now has been the hot haven for quarterbacks to get you relevant quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they can process information real quickly. Plenty of experience. No game is too big. The lights can't get too bright. Because you actually sometimes when they come from if coming from somewhere like Houston, you coming to somewhere like A&M, the lights kind of dim a little. So it gives you a little bit better because you may to be able to process that information so you can shine. Because of course you be in the power four coming down to the SWAC, just the
Yeah.
eyes are there. It's just not as many.
Right.
You kind of get what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing that they're trying to change with the SWAC is to get more eyes on it. And I think once you can put it out there so you can actually see it, because it's like you were saying, we were talking about it earlier. It's a lot of times it's hard to even find where you can watch them.
They got a lot of outlets, but I think that I mean, obviously that's something that a lot of even when you look at some of the big boys, like I can always talk about Florida State. I mean, it's a running joke. Like we got games that come on the CW. Like nobody wants to be the weekly game that pops up on the CW. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, it's like, hey, if you're a diehard, you're gonna search and you're gonna find it. So, I mean, I think that they're on their way to continuing to make sure that the coverage is seen. And we just gonna keep going from there, man. Now, one thing I also will say before we wrap all of this up, I will say this, man. When you listen to Coach Shed from A&M, you listen to him, and for all my Bulldog fans out there, we weren't gonna leave you out. We weren't gonna just start this show talking about state and not say a word about A&M. So please don't get in the comments acting crazy like how y'all from Birmingham and y'all ain't gonna say nothing about Alabama A&M. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't get in the comments talking crazy. Okay, listen, we got y'all covered. We listen to your coach. Coach said he's building stepping stones. He's building blocks. Okay, this is a rebuild. Bulldogs, understand that. This is a rebuild. But knowing that, A&M is, is rebuilding, it was refreshing to hear, Coach talk about, the steps that he took within the first year, and it didn't go all the way he wanted it, but it was good to hear him talk about how he plans on implementing more and growing more and making the team be a little more competitive this season than they were last.
Yeah, I just definitely think that with that one, you building a culture more than anything else when you come to a school like that, because you want everybody to kind of, put accountability on each other. Because once you can get them to start helping each other be accountable, then you can have a little more camaraderie, because camaraderie gonna always help with your teamwork. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you don't like the cat standing next to you, you probably not block too hard for him. You know what I mean? You might not care too much about him getting hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't fuck with him no way. But I always say, you got to build it from the ground up. And like you said, he a defensive guy. You know what I mean? So he want to build it from the defensive side. So I'm going to be looking to see, if that's the case. You know what I mean? Because he definitely said, like, hey, I want to build it from the defensive side. Hey, let's see if that's the case. So they look like they're going to play some defense. So, I just want to see what strides they made. You know what I mean? Because he did speak on off-season training and everything and what they were trying to build in doing that. So, just see what they can build from the record they had last year and just, want to just see that improvement. You might not, catch lightning in the ball and go, 9-1, 10-1, 8-3 or something like that. But you can definitely show improvement and show that you got the program going in the right direction.
That's what's up, man. So, D, look, I'm going to put them in your face one more time. And then we got to give our prediction because, listen, we can't come from media day. I know it's July. I know it. But let's look at it one more time. So in the West, we got State predicted, whichever way you want to view it. We got them scheduled to finish first. That is the consensus. And then in the West, we got Prairie View projected to win the West. So, who do you think ends up in the Swac championship game? And ultimately, who is your champion for the Swac? And I will give mine after you do yours.
Now, based on me and my ears and my eyes and what I see and what I hear, I like Body, so I'm gonna have to go with State on that side. I really wish my A&M people that it was A&M and State fighting for the East, but unfortunately it's not. So I'm gonna definitely take State and Body to pull that thing off, because I think they're gonna be playing with a different type of motivation, a different type of gonna be something like what they would call a get back tour, whatever you want to do it in that situation. So I definitely take A&M on that one, and I'm definitely gonna still take Prairie View on this side, because it's just it's just hard for me to choose against them based off what I saw and what I'm hearing. So things may change. That's just from now. So I'm still gonna take instead of I'm gonna take State Prairie View, and I see State taking it, man. I'm gonna go State in the Swac.
I'm gonna ride with you on the state part. And before y'all be like, oh man, here we go, a Birmingham podcast, Birmingham sports show, predicting an Alabama team to pull this off. I get it, cool. You know what I'm saying? I mean, next time when you see me at Sweat Media there next year, say something. Say something. But I will say this. I do think, when you have a quarterback as electric, veteran quarterback, we all know. I mean, you hate to say the same cliches you hear on every sports show, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, quarterback is the most important position on the field. And when you probably have arguably the best quarterback in the conference, why would people not expect you to, at the very least, win your division to make sure you play for the championship in that conference? So, with that being said, without a shadow of a doubt, I have Alabama State. I do feel like Coach Rob knows how close they were to finishing the deal last year. I think he knows that, and I think he wants it, and I think he's hungry, and I think he wants that. So I got Alabama State coming from that way. I know I probably should roll with Prairie View. I probably should, but because I'm one of those people that try to go against the grain, I do feel like they did pick Grambling second for a reason. They did pick Grambling second for a reason in the West. But I can't do it. Hey, man, I'm going chalk. Give me Prairie View. Give me Prairie View to come out from OSI. And I want to be in Montgomery in the building as Alabama State pulls off winning the Swac championship right down the street in December. Us in the building in Montgomery, watching Alabama State become victorious and winning the Swac, going on to play for the Beast. We already know what they're going on to play for in Atlanta after that. So give me Alabama State to win the Swac. I know it. You can call me chalk. You can call me whatever you want to call me, but don't call me wrong. Give me Alabama State to pull off winning the Swac this year. You're damn right. I said it. I got them winning the whole thing. Yeah, and that I do. So, D, before we get up out of here, man, it looks like since both of us have Alabama State winning Swac, it's only right that when the time comes, we gonna see what happened at the Madison City Classic. We gonna see what happened at the Madison City Classic. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know what I'm saying? But before we get up out of here, D, man, let everybody know how you can be reached and your social media information, brother.
Man, again, this is what D, man. Okay, D Holler, man. D Holler across the board, man. And so from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the D Holler across the board, man. Mr. Auburn 100, man.
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. Y'all already know where y'all can reach me at, man. I am DJ Double Dose, man. Always remember, man, live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back, and find you something to laugh at each and every day. We got State winning the whole thing in the Swac, man. And more videos, more coverage as we get close to the season. And we got the weekly predictions. All of that's coming, man. We back in full effect, man. Holla at y'all, man.
Yes,
and we out.